Shalom, shalom, shalom. All praises to the power of Israel, who is the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, who is also known as the God of Israel. Also, I'm going to give recognition to the Holy Spirit and recognition to Yahushai. Many salutes, much love, much ahab to you brothers and sisters who are keeping the will of our God to the best of your abilities. So with that being said, welcome to the video. And I pray that you guys just, keep faith and just keep pushing along, doing the best you can. So yeah, in this video, I want to talk about false history, okay? In this video, I will be talking about how there are theories. Well, I'm not going to say theories because there is a professor out of China who is saying he's basically spilling the beans, saying that the Egyptian and Greco-Roman architecture that we can find in the Mediterranean are fakes. And this is something I've been saying for a long time. If you watch any of my videos, you know that I am a believer that Israel, the biblical Israel that we read about, is over here in the Americas. And I have a little bonus at the end of this video that I'm going to show you guys after I get done with this false history. And it's dealing with Israel. But yeah, I am a believer of that. There's a brother named Karimio. Check out his channel. He has a lot of evidence over there showing, that Israel is over here in the Americas. Also check out UBTV. Salute to both of them brothers. Both of them put in a lot of work. So check out their channels. Also salute to the young chief, Chief Moray. He has also put in a lot of work showing that Israel, the biblical Israel, is over here in the United States, and that other old world kingdoms are over here in the Americas too, such as Egypt, Babylon, Assyria, so on and so forth. So yeah, let's get started. Let's get to it right here. So I want to show you this right here, right? It says Chinese. Now, of course, this is a Taiwan article. And for your information, the Taiwanese, they have beef with China. So, of course, they're going to make it seem like this guy is crazy. It says Chinese professor, there were no ancient Western civilizations, just modern fakes made to demean China. Now, I don't agree with everything this guy is saying, but I do agree that a lot of Western history, and what he mean by that is he talking about Greco-Roman and even Egyptian history has been faked. Shout out to the brother Big Judah. He did a video probably about 2-3 years ago where this scholar essentially admitted that a lot of the Greco-Roman history that we know about it is they're actually fabrications. So you do have many scholars out there who are bucking against the system. They're going against the grain, and they're saying, hey, this Greco-Roman history is fake. Actually, a lot of this history belonged to different people. Actually, a lot of these sciences that are given to the Greco-Roman actually belong to other people, such as the Druids in Europe and such as many other people around the world, right? So, and this is just this scientist right here, this professor, he's just one of the many people, but they're trying to make it seem like, oh, this is ultra nationalism and so on and so forth. I don't believe it. I do believe that he is inserting China, but I do believe that China does have ancient history that has been hidden and being suppressed. And I do believe that they do use Western, quote unquote, Western history to suppress other cultures around the world. They always compare everything to the Greco-Romans. And the thing is that the Greeks and Romans, they were black too. This is why they depicted themselves as blacks. All right, just like with the Hindu culture, they in mythology they always try to say the green people were deities. That's why they were green and blue. When I truly believe that the reason why they were green and blue was because they were using blue paints to try to achieve a dark skin, a jet black person, right? So they mixed the blues with the greens. I made a video and I uploaded it showing this very thing, how the brown skinned people were fading to a green and even a bluish color. You know, so I just believe it was paint to try to imitate undertones, you know, the cool undertones that some quote unquote black people can have in their skin. Well, I think it's the same thing with the Greco-Roman art. You know how they depict black people on there, and they're like, no, the black just means that those are deities. Bullshit. And tell me why those black deities have braids. I mean, you can literally find Greco-Roman art, you know, on their pots where the guy literally have braids, and I believe one of the videos that I'm going to show you actually depicts that. So anyways, just hold on tight, guys. So anyways, it says a Chinese professor claims that the Egyptian pyramids and the Parthenon and other remnants of ancient civilizations in the West were all faked by Western scholars in order to fabricate an ancient history and diminish the glory of China. Now, of course, they're not doing it to diminish China. Yes, they're probably doing it to diminish the glory of ancient China, the people, the Nagas, right, who civilized and built a lot of structures in ancient China, right? But it's so funny because these Chinese people today, they are inheritors, just like, you know, the so-called natives here in the United States and other parts of the Americas, right? Just like the East Indian people today, they're just inheritors, right? They didn't build any of that. They just inherited a lot of this stuff after we have left, right? And of course, we know how a lot of these Caucasian societies are when they go to these places. They're like, hey, you know, you guys knew nothing about this stuff. Well, guess what? It's now it's yours. This belongs to you. And then they fabricate some type of history for them, try to connect these people to these things, just like with the pyramids, right, of Egypt. So anyways, it says right here, Hong Kong news outlet Hong Kong 01 is just one of the many Chinese language medias who reported the farcical claims after Professor Hong Heiking, I think that's his name, broadcast one of his lectures live to the internet recently. Look, here they go. While the ultra-nationalist conspiracy theories are not rare in China, see, and I think the reason why is because I think China, the people over in China, they're, you know, they're not completely down with how Western society rocks. You know, Western society, they lie about everything. I think the Chinese people are a little bit more honest. Or indeed in any other country. What makes this story even more bizarre is that Hong teaches in his School of Arts and Archeology in Zhejiang University. So he's an archaeologist. You know, he's not just anyone. He's a doctor on top of that, right? One of the oldest and most selective and prestigious universities in China. So this isn't just anybody. This guy right here isn't just anybody to just be making BS claims, right? Hung, we're just gonna call him Hung, stated in his lecture that from the 19th to 20th centuries, the West was rampantly forging historical and cultural relics and spending huge sums of money everywhere from the Mediterranean to India, fabricating fake ancient artifacts. Ooh. From the Mediterranean, which is, you know, Greece, Rome, also Egypt, to India, fabricating fake ancient artifacts. And see, at this time, during the 19th and 20th century, right? So the 19th century is your 1800s, 20th century is your 1900s. During that time, they were faking a lot of things. And see, this was around the same time. If you watch my videos from several months ago or from last year, I made videos talking about the world's fairs and how they were destroying a lot of the structures that we had here, a lot of the Greco-Roman structures that were here. And they were real structures. And while they were destroying those structures and dumping them off in the ocean and rivers, they were forging the fake structures over in the Mediterranean. Okay? And I'm even inclined to believe that some of the structures that they have over in the Mediterranean is real, but they just moved it over there. Okay? I do believe that some of the structures over there are real, but they just took them from the Americas and moved them over to the Mediterranean. Okay? And the brother UB from UB TV put it in a good way. If it's able to be put on a ship, if it's able to be put on a plane or a vehicle, it can easily be moved to the other side of the world. Okay, so I believe a lot of these artifacts that they find of ancient Israel, ancient Egypt, and all these other countries, I believe that they stole those things and then moved them onto the other side of the world. If you look up the story about Father Crespi, a lot of his findings were stolen and taken by the Vatican. Okay, so I'm sure a lot of stuff that they found over here in the Americas, they was like, hey, yeah, you know what, we found this over in modern day Egypt, right? Even though it belonged to ancient Egypt, which is over here in the Americas, right? So anyways, it says the pyramids of Khufu and the Great Sphinx of Giza were made of concrete and constructed in the 19th century, Hong claims. A well-known French chemist and material scientist conducted physical and chemical analysis on Khufu pyramid in the 1980s and confirmed that other than a small amount of natural stone, it is mostly consists of concrete, says Hang. I'm just gonna call him Hang. Referring to the controversial theorist Joseph David Vietz, or David Oates, I don't know how to pronounce his name, who persists, I don't know what the hell that means, that the Egyptians built the pyramids using limestone-based cement invented thousands of years before the Romans invented concrete. Okay, so yeah, I looked up the guy. He does have a book. I forget what the book is called. It's called Egypt something. I don't know. But I read the synopsis on the book, and essentially this Joseph guy, he proved that the Great Pyramids and also the Egyptian Sphinx isn't made out of stones. They're not made out of stone blocks like we're told. That actually they're made out of plaster. I mean, they're made not out of plaster, but concrete. And I'm gonna show you guys. that they're not made out of stones like we're told. We're told that they're made out of stones and, hewn out stones that were placed on top of each other and carved. That's not what it is at all. Okay. Where did I leave off at? Okay, I left off right down here. It says another material scientist from the United States came to a similar conclusion. Hang says, in addition, the stones at the bottom of the pyramid of Khufu have a lipped shape, which is obviously a sign that they were cast. Hong said, the ancient Egypt we know today is actually a fairy tale fabricated by Western Orthodox historians since the 19th century. Okay. And of course, I can't read this, but this is actually in his video. You guys can find his video on YouTube, but it's in Chinese though. But you probably want to still look at it though. It says an artist's depiction of the Great Sphinx of Giza compared to the actual photography today proves that the Sphinx was constructed in modern times, according to Hang's theory. Western scholars evaluate the status of the ancient Egyptian, Mesopotamian, and Indian civilizations at China's expense, Hong argues. The intentions of this vast, I don't know, what is that supposed to be? Occidental conspiracy is fictionalizing that these three civilizations to appear to be older than the Chinese civilizations was to weaken the glory of Chinese civilization. Chinese civilization is more ancient, Hong says, and that could be true compared to the fake crap that they made over there, right? I'm not saying that the Chinese civilization is the oldest, but what I am saying, not what Hong is saying, but what I am saying is that all that stuff that's over in Egypt today, all that stuff that's over in Greece and Rome today was, in my opinion, from the proofs that I've seen, not from this article, but from many other, researchers out there, and even videos on YouTube and pictures and stuff, that yes, the stuff over in the Mediterranean is not as old as the stuff that you can find over in China. By the way, you can find a lot of Roman architecture, Greco-Roman structures over in China. Some of them don't exist anymore. Some of them were torn down in the 1900s, right? And these photos are very hard to find, but you can find them online. I actually didn't have time to pull them up today, but yeah, you can find them online. You just have to do a lot of digging, right? You have to do a lot of digging, just like anything else that's that's not popular in today's history, right? So anyways, it says the intention of this I read that. Okay. The now 63-year-old doctoral supervisor obtained his first degree majoring in French at the People Liberations Army Liaoyang Institute of Foreign Languages, studied Western art history, okay, at Zhejiang University, and eventually gained a PhD at the Sorbonne University of Paris. So this dude is not just anybody, right? This dude is an actual doctor, okay? He got his doctorate, right? It says Hang has been a professor at Zhejiang University since 2000. The Chinese Ministry of Education Class A double first class university ranks among the top 3 in China, and it is motto, and it's I'm misreading, and its motto is seeking truth, pursuing innovation. Professor Hang's theory is truly innovative, and he claims that he can prove his theory with pictures. Hang said that he found online the sketches of Di Nan, the first curator of the Louvre Museum in Paris, and others who were part of the delegation of scientists of Napoleon's 1798 expedition to Egypt. They published pictures and the description of Egypt after they returned home. They both show the pyramid was built on land of hills and gullies, completely different from the landscape we see today. Okay. So he's saying that the picture that, Napoleon saw, they saw actually built on hills and gullies, unlike what they see today. And you have to remember, Napoleon Bonaparte, if the man was even real, remember that during that time, he was over here in the Americas. He sent a lot of his soldiers over here in the Americas. They occupied a lot of lands over here in the Americas, especially in the Louisiana and Texas area, all the way up to Canada. And remember, these places have pyramids. A lot of these pyramids are covered under the earth. So I believe when he went to Egypt, he came over here and was talking about this Egypt that's over here. Okay? It says whether it is the pyramids and the Sphinx in Egypt or the Parthenon Temple in Athens, they are all actually modern day forgeries by Western countries with the purpose of depreciating Chinese culture, Hang emphasized. Excuse me. This is a historical conspiracy, so I have to make a stand for rectification of Chinese culture. The West is always making up history and falsifying ancient relics. The main purpose is to belittle Chinese civilization. I want justice for Chinese civilization. I don't know. That's a typo right there. I guess that's what he said, but whatever. It says, I want to justice for Chinese civilization. The lecture is just a small part of his efforts to reverse history. In the past few years, he has been committed to correcting the mistakes of the West. If Hang were only one voice, well, sorry. Man, I'm looking at this computer screen too long. My vision is going. It says, if Hang were only one voice, well may people laugh. What? Well may people laugh the story off. Oh, I guess there should be a comment here. It should say, well, people may laugh the story off, but unfortunately, Hang is only one member of a school of thought developing in China, which aims to rewrite the history of the world to put China at the center. Now that could be the thing, but I do believe at the same time he is telling a lot of truth. Okay, and you guys, you can read this whole article by yourself. I mean, I was almost done with it, but you can read it on your own. I can show you the title right here. It says, Chinese Professor, there were no ancient Western civilizations, just modern fakes made to demean China. Then here's the video right here. I don't know if you guys can find this. If I remember, I'll try to post the link of this video in the comment section for you guys. If you can speak Chinese, I'm sure you'll probably enjoy watching this. I don't, so yeah, I don't read or write Chinese. So anyways, I wanted to show you guys. I don't know what that. Okay, anyways. Oh yeah, this is the book. This is the book by the guy I was talking about, Joseph Davids, right? The Pyramids, an enigma solved, right? And he talks about how it's made out of concrete and all that stuff, right? Egypt concrete. So of course, you know, these Gentiles are gonna be mad because they want to give credit to, I think, the Romans for inventing concrete. They don't want to give it to anyone else. Because for them, Egyptians are, you know, they're a question mark people. They don't know, they can't decide whether they're black or white, brown or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But they damn sure believe that the Romans were white. So they're going to want to give that credit to the Romans, right? So anyways, let's go over here. Check out this video. I'm not going to show you guys this entire video, but you can check out this video. It shows a lot of pictures of them constructing Egypt, right? I'm just gonna mute it, but it's a good video. You definitely should check it out. Yeah, just check out this video. It shows a lot of stuff. You know, they show, it's funny, they show rebar. Like, you can actually see rebar in some of these supposed ancient Egyptian structures. It's just so phony, man. But also check this out too. So this is what I'm talking about now. These are supposed to be hewn stone, right? These architectures, I mean, these structures are supposed to be made out of hewn stone. But the thing is, why do you not see any single stones in here? Like the David guy was saying, this is concrete. This has been molded. This is concrete. This isn't, these are just one stones. And this is my thing too. Look at this. These people are building this stuff. They're trying to make you think that, oh, they're just preserving it. No, they're building it. Why are they putting rebar in there? You see what I'm saying? Why are these perfect blocks? Why don't you see any seams in there between any rocks or anything like that? And how, if they did cut into this just to remove it to place it back on there, how did it get the cut so perfectly? You see what I'm saying? Like, there's no way you can cut into there without jack. Like, how can you cut so deep? As you see the people right here, this piece of his head has to be like around 8 to 9 feet tall, right? Who Who in the hell got a saw that can cut that deep and cut that perfect around the edge, that where you can take a chunk out of this body and make it look like this? It doesn't make any sense at all, right? It's because stuff is fake, man. It's fake. But yeah, this is them constructing it, you know? And yeah, you guys can check this out. Check out this video right here. It's called "The Egyptian History You've Been Given Is Fake." Okay? Check it out. Of course, I'm not going to play the entire video, but you guys can check it out yourselves. It's very interesting. Yeah. And don't let the ancient look fool you. That's how they design it. Just like today, you know, when they make movie sets, or when you go to, like, you know, theme parks and they have ancient Roman and Egyptian structures there, they intentionally make it look ancient. You know what I'm saying? You can make anything look ancient. But yeah, look at this. Like, how can you get such perfect cuts into the deepness of these statues if you were just taking them apart just to put them somewhere else, right? Yeah, look at this.
Yeah. Just like Achilles was, but
yeah, but you guys, you can check that video out. There's other videos too, like this one right here.
Hi guys, wanted to use...
Let me mute this guy, you don't need to hear him. But yeah, essentially the same pictures. Yeah, they find like concrete all over these damn things, like plaster. They be plaster with rebar, and it's like, why do you need rebar in something that was made thousands of years ago? Essentially the same pictures, but this is them constructing. They're constructing this fake history, right, and giving it to us who don't know better. Check out this documentary, Hide in Plain Sight. Oh man, this is good. This is a good documentary. Check this out. This goes deep into it, man. The fake Egyptian history and structures over there. Check it out, guys. But anyways, you know, that's essentially all that I want to talk about, you know, when it comes to you know, the fake structures over there in the Mediterranean, and even the history that was given to them, you know, because, you know, I'm not sure, but I do know that, you know, the Greeks and Romans were over here in the Americas, but I'm not sure if their civilization started over here. I do know that they made it over here for sure, because you can find Greco-Roman architecture over here. And yeah, I mean, you can find it over here, and it was over here in the 1800s, 1900s, but they destroyed a lot of these places. Some of these places still exist, like the Pantheon down there in Tennessee, just like the Greco-Roman palace that you can find out there in San Francisco. And you can find it in various places around the United States. The thing is why did they hide this stuff? Why did they destroy the architecture and the structures that you can find over here? A lot of stuff in DC, that stuff was here for thousands of years. They just inherited a lot of those structures and turned them into government buildings, you know? But yeah, I believe a lot of those structures over in Italy, over there in Greece, I believe that a lot of those structures are fake, or they're the real deal, just taken from over here and placed over there. So I'm starting to believe that maybe even Greece and Rome was over here somewhere in the Americas. Who knows? But I do know that they did make it around the world. So anyways, like I was saying, something that's kind of on subject, but not really, because it's not dealing with Egypt or Greece or Rome, but it's dealing with Israel. So I want to show you this. It's like a little bonus. I want you guys to check this video out.
He was thinking all about the locations here in Utah that are named. Our Craig North is a real globetrotter. While in Israel recently, he was thinking all about the locations here in Utah that are named after places in the Holy Land. So he visited those sites and tells us that a couple of them even look like Utah. Craig Worth takes us to the original Moab, the Jordan River, Mount Nebo, and even the Jericho sand dunes. It's today's Worth Watching.
So what I find so crazy about this video is how they compare the locations to, like, the locations here in Utah, which is the real Israel, right, to locations over there in Israel, and say, hey man, they're identical. And it's like, it doesn't make you think that maybe the lands over here in America are the real lands, because everything over here is much grand than what you can find over there in the fake Middle East country known as Israel, right?
This is the southern Utah we all know and love. Well, except for some 2,000-year-old Roman ruins. It is actually Israel. And that range lining the Dead Sea in Jordan is Moab. There is no doubt that this is Moab. Now, up on top of that,
No, it's not Moab, my guy.
that range is Mount Nebo. Well, not exactly the Mount Nebo of Juab and Utah counties, but one of the number of Utah places named after biblical locations.
What happened was these steps took you to the top of a flat walkway.
There is a scholar who knows them all and their Utah counterparts. The Reverend Canon Mary June Nestler has been an archaeologist and teacher throughout the Holy Land for decades.
I want you to find the city wall. That's a 4th century wall.
She now lives in Jerusalem.
Now, of course, that wall they refer to as the Wailing Wall, that's supposed to be a wall that had been here since ancient Israel. But yet, scripture tells you that Israel is going to be completely leveled in the Old Testament and in the New Testament. So I don't know why that would still be standing. They even supposedly have temples that were still standing, you know, from ancient times. I'm like, okay, that's definitely not biblical.
As the course director of the prestigious St. George's College in Israel. Prior to this work, she lived in Utah for a decade.
My goodness, Israel looks so much like parts of Utah.
Yeah, that's because when they went over to that fake land of Israel, they had to go and pick all the places over there that represented the real locations in Israel that are over here in the Americas. Don't let this devil fool you. Don't let her make you think that she's a nice person. She's all part of the game. She's all part of Psalms 83. She's going to lie to us and try to deceive us. But yeah, she notices that the locations over there look just like the locations over here. There's a reason why.
Sometimes I'll look up and wonder where I am.
Of course, you will find the 156-mile-long River Jordan in the Holy Land, and it is surprisingly about the size of the Jordan River in Salt Lake County. And like the Utah counterpart, people have lived along its banks for thousands of years. And how about the Jericho sand dunes of Utah? Well, this is Jericho, and these are the dunes of the Judea Desert. Now, the dunes aren't quite as sandy as in Utah, more rocky, but you can see that they were well named in Utah.
That's because they're not the real dunes. How you gonna be a sand dune and you don't really have any sand? That makes no sense.
And besides, it is here that you find the original 4x4 of the desert dunes. No, this is not a fun ride. Not at all. There is no good way on or off. Now, Canon Nestler says you'll find hundreds of locations in America named after biblical places, not just because they look like their counterparts, but because religious people honor those places with the new locations in America.
They had no idea, in most cases, what the actual biblical places looked like, but they were dear to them, dear in their hearts, and when they founded places and they needed to name a river, they needed to name a town, they naturally looked to the scriptures for inspiration.
Really, woman? Really? And then they set it all up to be biblical. It's so funny because all the locations, shout out to Chief Moray, he has several videos showing that the locations in Utah are actually more accurate to scripture compared to what you would find in modern day Israel. Modern day Israel, they're not biblically sound. They're not biblically accurate, you know, according to location and positioning and stuff like that. So yeah.
But whether pioneers saw these places or were just inspired by the accounts in the Bible, Utah is pretty close to much of the land. For example, I just thought that this canyon looked like the land outside of Price.
Well, it's a lot of fun because when I'm riding around and I see the name of a place that I know from Utah and I know I'm halfway around the world, it jogs my memory of good things.
Oh, and of course there is the Dead Sea. Now you can't help but think of the Great Salt Lake, and why isn't our Salt Lake really named after the Dead Sea? Well, actually it does have the same name as the body of water when you look at the literal translation of the name in Hebrew.
Yam HaMelach in Hebrew is the Salt Sea.
Is that by chance? Is that by chance? Come on now.
So, Utah has a Great Salt Lake, and Israel and Jordan have a Great Salt Lake.
But in Hebrew, it has pretty much the same name.
Exactly the same name.
And there is the same issue when one floats like a cork in this water. You usually do it only once. But again, it's interesting to see. Utah is a lot like the Holy Land in topography, well, except for the Roman roads. Well, do you see Utah here? Okay, in your imagination. Craigworth, news for Utah at the Dead Sea.
See, these people, they know, but they play us for fools. The real location is over here in the Americas. And, you know, people know. Look at the comment section. If you come over here and say, look, lies. America is the original biblical place, not the Middle East. This is such foolishness. You go ahead, whoever you are. Oh, that's because it is the Holy Land. The old tricks is to tell you the truth without telling you it's true. Utah is the real, no joking. They know. I'm glad people aren't fools. You know, they think we're fools. These people, these actors who read the same scripts, yeah, they think we're fools. Like her, she's like a robot. But anyways, guys, I'm up out of here. I thought I'd make this video for you guys. And I love you all. I hope you have a good night. I cannot speak worth anything. Anyways, shalom.